Hello, everyone, again. Hello, so my name is Domingos Ferreira. I'm director and head of software engineering at Much Consulting. We are a German-based consulting company implementing Odoo like everyone else is here. So thank you for choosing yet another talk about AI. This time I will try to bring it beyond code generation. And the idea is actually that this is a little bit the anti-talk about AI for developers, you know. Before I go into more detail, feel free to scan the QR code if you want to receive the slides later. I will promise your email is only used to send these slides for this talk. If you get anything else, you can spam me back. It's a fair trade. Yeah, I'll get the slides back to you. And anyway, in any case, in the end, you'll be able to ask questions, but also if you find me, you can ask me anything you want, and we can share details, and we can talk also later if you want to go further and deeper on these topics. So let's start strong. I do believe that deploying AI right now in your workflows, being them whatever they are, but here we're talking about engineering, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, especially for Odoo partners, to raise the quality of what we do at no extra cost. Okay, I do think this is, you know, last call basically. So don't waste the opportunity. Okay, though I think vibe coding is not the future, at least not a good one. What is vibe coding? Most of you are probably familiar with it, but you know, I will break it down anyway so that we're all on the same page for sure. Vibe coding is this idea that without knowing what software engineering is, I get AI, I asked it what I want, and I get what I was looking for. So build me a real estate app. The promise is there's your real estate app in your Odoo, ready to use with whatever you thought and dreamed about. And the reality is, you know, traceback. And what happens is you pick the traceback, you go back to the AI, you put the traceback in the AI, fix it, and it fixes something, then there's another error, and you copy it, you go to the AI, you put it there, fix it, and then there's another error. Okay, you get the idea. We don't need to spend 20 minutes on this. I will show you where I really believe that the real value right now is, and it's probably the task that most people don't talk about. AI-generated code suffers from three critical flaws in terms of Odoo development. Version blindness. So AI models, they are trained on data, public data. And in that regard, Odoo is in a great position. I mean, it's open source. All the code is out there. With OCA, shout out to OCA, with all the code that they have also available out there, this is rich for an AI model to learn about coding and about Odoo. The problem is, AI doesn't care about versions, will not understand the difference. AI will easily generate you code with the wrong version APIs, will generate you templates with the wrong XML template, QWebs with whatever you can think of. Okay, so it's blind to it. And while we can try to fix it, like with really hard prompts to give it the context, it will lose the context through time. It's not so simple. Then there's context vacuum. I mean, ERP is not just, you know, a simple app. It's the core of businesses that are running it. If it's missing the business logic, if it's missing the business context, there's no way that AI can do what needs to be done for proper Odoo development, right? So there's that. It doesn't understand the specificities of the client's workflows, the specificities of why certain things need to be done. There are certain things that need to be customized that are very counterintuitive if you just look at the context of what you are doing there, right? But they serve a purpose in the big scheme of things. And then the worst of them all, in my opinion, humble opinion, is the silent failure, right? The most dangerous mistakes of AI is not code that breaks, is exactly code that doesn't break. Right? AI will be very happy after 3 or 4 of those iterations where you copy the error, the traceback, you put it there, say fix it. You copy the traceback, put it there, say fix it. AI will be very happy to do just comment all the code, return true. That's it. There's no error anymore. Good. But it also doesn't do anything. Or even worse, does something that it's not what you want. Okay? You are implementing ERP systems that should be going for years on end. This core business depending on it. Cannot risk that something is happening in the code that I don't know about, that AI just thought of, because it was copying the code that is online doing something else, Okay, so I think that the real opportunity for AI is to fix the boring tasks, okay? Often neglected in the software development lifecycle because several reasons. We will go into them. This is the software development lifecycle. Some people change one or other stage of names or where one or other stage begins and ends, but we can take this as a reference. It's requirements, designing the solution, implementing the solution, testing and evolving the solution, and here we talk about maintenance, documentation, etc. So before we try to get AI to replace the core of what we do as software engineers, as developers, I think we should really focus on using AI to accelerate the repetitive tasks, automate things, even with unstructured data. That's one of the biggest benefits, right? Is AI can structure whatever data you give it unstructured, that you can automate. You can add coverage, so you can, the diminishing returns is getting away, it's disappearing, it's completely shifting, right? Because right now there's very little amount of tasks that are not worth doing because there's so much work for little gain. Now AI can do a lot of those tasks, and the gain is there, and the effort is minimal, right? You can create depth, make your system more robust. There's plenty of things. And to be honest, we should focus on using it in areas where we are not excellent, that we are not fast, we are not motivated to, and generally, as humans, things that we're not really good at. As we say it much, it's our vision. No more boring tasks. So let's start with the software development lifecycle. In requirement analysis, AI excels at translating unstructured nodes into structured data, right? We saw that, that's great. The highest reward, lowest risk, the highest of the both, the balance of the both, is to apply AI even before you write a single line of code. AI excels at these things, excels at writing code, excels at understanding patterns in writing text, and understanding patterns in text. 3 things you can do right now. You can create Odoo expert for brainstorming ideas, right? You can create a good prompt, and you can ask AI to challenge your ideas, to challenge the process that the client wants to implement. If you are an end client, you can ask about it. Does it make sense that I use this process for my needs? Or I have this problem, how can I solve it with Odoo? Get an Odoo expert there for you to brainstorm ideas. And you can, as an engineer, you can go deeper in the industry knowledge, right? You can create an industry expert out of the blue on an industry that you never heard about, that you have to do some work on, and brainstorm ideas, get an understanding, explain me like I'm 5, some concept on why this industry may need something like this. Another idea, AI ticket writer. We saw great AI presentation this morning in the keynote of the capabilities with Odoo 19. And I think this is one of the ways that if you use Odoo for services, for example, providing software engineering, you can easily automate this. That if there are certain set of requirements arriving through a certain pattern from emails, for example, you receive an email from the client with certain amount of requests, you can pick that unstructured data and you can set, this is the format of a ticket as I want it. It has to have these categories, it has to have tests, it has to have a description, it has to have a set of tests, of steps to do, and always transform it into a standard structure that you recognize, that your team recognizes, and elevates the standard of what your team is doing. You can create an AI project repository for all your projects. You can open, for example, a notebook LM, I give here as an example, these knowledge tools, where you just dump all the information that you have there, dump all the documentation that you wrote for that client in terms of code, in terms of workflows, in terms of what was discussed. Okay, you have a question about this project? Ask this knowledge machine. Documentation is basically not anymore having text written, is really having where to search for, where to ask for, and have it available, because it's interactive. So you can also, what would happen if? What could we do, right? In design, going more into the engineering, closer to the engineering step, validate the technical designs. A lot of engineers jump into the solution, jump into writing code right away, there's no need to do that. It's not a good practice. Sit down, think, right? Think for a second, ask AI. Ask AI to validate your design, to propose alternatives. Okay, model scaffolder. So before you start to develop even, you can ask AI, does it know any open source model that could implement part of what was requested? Is there some solution that already exists? You can find something. Module recommender, right? You get AI the requirements, and you can check which other models could be leveraged to implement this here. You can build on top of functionality that already exists. This can speed up your development a lot by not having to write everything from scratch. And the pre-mortem analysis. So describe your implementation, have it as finite as possible, as ready as possible. Honestly, ask AI to validate it, to identify potential performance issues, etc., etc. Put it like in roast mode. We do this with AI, like roast my solution. But really go deep, go, hardcore. It's great, provides great results when AI starts to roast you. And also fun results too. Okay, then in the implementation. I still think we should use AI in implementation. I mean, a machine that writes code for you, it's great, right? I just think that not in the core logic. Don't outsource the core logic. That's where we really need all our focus on. But you know what? Log consistency is possible. We can have this, it's a reality. If you have your code and you can ask AI to just make your logs consistent, provide an example of the logs that you would like, and AI will go through your code, rewrite how logging is done, rewrite how your logs are, make sure that they all look the same, neat and nice and beautiful. AI can analyze code, right? So it can improve error handling, missing parameter validation, any runtimes errors. You can ask AI for blind spots in the code. You can have it as kind of a pair programming peer, who you can ask things about, ask it to review the code, get some insights. Just don't go blindly on it. If you have, especially on the templates, etc., when I was talking about version blindness, right? You can get it to write templates, it's great. Just provide an example. If you provide an example of a view that is very similar and you just want to reuse this type of view but with another model, probably AI will give you great results and be very fast with it. But here you really need to be specific with the example. That's how you control the version blindness that I was talking before. And speed up boilerplate. One thing that we have to start to be used to is when you're getting the requirements, you already identify the fields that you need, the models that you will need. In this design, you set all the models, all the fields, what data type they use. Yes, then feed this to AI. They will bring the boilerplate up really fast, much faster than any human can do. They will create the models, the fields, etc. And you can just start developing the core of what needs to be developed. All the functions, all the interactions, all the relations. AI is great for fast prototyping, right? But it doesn't understand your business, and it always, at some point, we look for just return true, kill the error, that's it, job done. And you are building an ERP to last for years and years. This cannot be the way to do it. You have to keep the core logic to yourself and use AI to speed up everything else. In testing, I know everyone hates to write tests anyway, right? So it's a great candidate. Outsource it. Step one, AI, my code is here, the request is here actually, and generate me a comprehensive list of test scenarios for this. Include all the happy path, edge cases, etc. AI will give you a list of potential workflows for that. Right? Step two, okay, pick the output from the first one, okay, generate Python unit tests, etc., for these scenarios. Include imports, blah, 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 blah. AI is great at generating data for testing, generate data for load testing, is great at all those things. Validate it, be happy again. You're almost ready to not have to write tests anymore. It's still far away, sorry. Okay, for maintenance and documentation, it doesn't have to be fully handled by you anymore. The project isn't done in deployment. First, we have to agree on this. Project is done, again, special ERP projects that you want to build for years and years to come for your clients. And AI, it's the best use that you can make for AI right now. So maintenance-wise, AI is great at debugging, right? One good example is one of those errors, traceback, etc. You use that traceback, give it to AI. You have to prompt it to be a really good developer, etc. And version blindness is not so bad for debugging, right? If you ask it three most likely scenarios to have caused this error, AI will also do something great, which is not just look at your code, but look at where your code could have been used. So it will suggest that maybe it's a data issue. Maybe it's something else. So something that is not in your code is not what you implemented, but can broaden your horizon on where to look for the problem. And documentation. This is easy. No more empty README files. There's absolutely no reason to have empty README files. Just define a structure, give it to AI in a way that AI can just write your README files, speed up things. One thing I would suggest, though, in documentation is really prompt AI to not be so verbose, right? Or always provide a too long didn't read. AI is very good at creating this paradox that we're coming in where everyone writes 10 times more than what we were writing before and reading 10 times less than what they were reading before. We're generating code that is amplified to be reduced again later because everyone says, give me the bullet points for this email, right? So just put the bullet points, it's fine. It's internal documentation, great. Okay, talking about tools, and this is not about tools, but here are some ideas. On requirement analysis, just to recap, we talked about the expert to brainstorm, ticket writing, project repository. For design, how we could speed up the design and confirm the design of the solution. Here, any online LLMs can help you really, really well. I mean, it's simple. Any of these chatbots are good. You can integrate them with Odoo with our free and open source module that we have in the App Store also. And you can basically automate things also inside of Odoo with base of these models. Then for the implementation, all these scenarios that we talked about, this you can for sure use. These tools excel at it. Copilot, Claude Code, OpenAI, ChatGPT Codex, they are all great. They can write README files like most developers can't, and they can really support you with code development. And then for evolution, error handling, update the files, etc., just integrate these tools into your CI pipeline, right? Integrate them into the way you handle logs. Integrate them into the way you develop code. And you can bring this content into RAG mode, into a cloud, and use then your own chatbot on top of these things, like with Vertex AI, for example. So the loop then is infinite, and you can generate a lot of knowledge. So there's 4 big shifts that I want you to think about and things to remember, right? My proposal is shift AI in engineering, software engineering, from generator to accelerator, right? It's not about generating code. We have a lot of engineers, especially not core logic. Shift it to the left. Think way more before you do. You can think double with the same time that you were using before because you have an instant partner that can challenge you. That can be a million personas, right? Enhance, don't generate. Even on code, when you're writing the code and implementing it, error handling, logging, being sure that code covers all the scenarios that we thought about, etc. AI is great for this. Automate tests, documentation. We have to bring the standard up on those areas for sure, and AI is a great accelerator for that. Three things I suggest you do now. A quick win. Pick something you developed recently. Ask AI to write comprehensive doc strings and documentation for it, and a unit test skeleton for it, okay, for testing. You're already trying something, right? Then for process shift, start your next task from using AI as explained here from the beginning. Don't jump into code. Think a little bit about it. Talk with AI about it. Come up with a design solution. Ask it for alternatives even if they are not better, right? And over the next month, share your results with your team and with your company. Create a prompt database. Find ways to share things with GPTs, gems, projects in Claude. Find ways that the approach is unified from everyone in your team and in your company. And that's it. Thank you very much. Thank you. If you have questions, you can scan the QR code to ask the questions. If you didn't get the QR code in the first slide, to get the slides, you can scan the other QR code, and we will send you the slides later to your email with the promise that we will not spam you.
Okay. I have the survey.
Meanwhile, while they are looking for the questions, my name is Domingos Ferreira, for the people that arrived a little bit later. Manager and head of software engineering at Much Consulting. You can find us in Hall 10, booth C1 later. We have great coffee. You are invited to try it.
Thank you, Domingos.
Thank you.
For the talk, very interesting.
Thank you.
I'm gonna search for the path so I can look for the questions that have been asked. Okay, the first question is, did you try to fine-tune or make a Sora for a model to have less problems with Odoo versions?
Can you repeat?
Did you try to fine-tune or make a Sora for a model to have less problems with Odoo versions?
I don't know what we mean by Sora. Sorry.
So maybe for the person who asked for the question, we can specify underneath the question what Sora exactly is. So let's move to the second one for now. What tools do you recommend for writing code? Claude Code, etc.
Yeah, that is another problem on adoption, right? Is every time a new model comes up, it's better than all the other ones. But then we also feel that they decay a little bit later, right? And the new version comes up. So I think, to be honest, we've been using Claude Code a lot. We've been also experimenting with Gemini CLI because the context is so big, and they're all great. I'm as head of software engineering, I think I'm more concerned into avoiding the constant shift of tools. You know, this FOMO of but the other tool is now way better because something. This one is already delivering so much value. We are still learning how to tame it and how to make the most value out of it. Do not switch until, choose one, use it, learn it, until you hit the limit and you really see an issue that another tool can solve. Don't jump. Any of them are great, to be honest.
Also because I assume it takes some time to learn a new one.
Of course, and optimize it. All these things, still not knowing what the Sora is, but all these things where you really try to prompt it in a way that it understands the Odoo, the Odoo way of how software works and how software is built, and how your own repos work and how your own repos are built. All that time, then it has to be basically replayed, not from the beginning, but there's a tax in it, basically.
Clear. Thanks a lot. The next question is, what LLM models work best with Odoo code? For example, Sonnet 4, GPT-5, etc.
The Claude ones, Sonnet and Opus, they work really well. At least we feel our experience is very positive with it. But also, the way we prompt it and the system prompts right now are very different from what they were in the beginning. And again, I do think that Codex and GPT-5 and even Gemini, they all can achieve the same level of productivity. It's really about finding the right way to prompt it.
Clear. Thanks a lot. The next question is, did you integrate custom AI API in an on-premise private local environment, for example, bank?
No. We know that this will always be an issue, right? Because if the data is private and I don't want to share it outside of a certain geolocation or a certain region or with a certain parties, it just cannot be shared, right? We've been trying to do a lot of things with AI, and going the route where you deploy a model locally in your local infrastructure, it would have to be the way to go. But there is not that much need right now for this type of work so specific, but this would be the route that we would take, basically. Get a server in the same network, then locally, so you're assured that all the data is local and you still get the benefits of an LLM.
Okay, clear. In the meantime, there is one that is for now the last question. It's quite broad open. So what do you think of vibe coding?
Well, to be honest, I think there's advantages to it. Because, for example, right now, for prototyping, you can build some things, and we can think of Odoo, but even outside of Odoo, right? You can build certain things by just talking to a machine. It's incredible. But the truth is, this will probably, someone probably already did this test, or it's a good idea for someone to do, which is develop a simple to-do task list, right, by yourself. Get an AI, just pure natural language, vibe coding, doing the same with the same technology stack. AI will produce like double the code, right? It's so verbose, it just tries to cover everything, immediately goes into, I don't know, very complex state management things that are not needed, and error handling situations that are not needed. So it's great for prototyping, it's great to accelerate, as I said it here. I would never use it, and I ask my engineers to always have this in consideration. I would really never use it for core logic. You have to start, what is the real issue? And software engineering was always like this. You have something to develop, the actual issues that you're solving is 10% of the code that you write. Everything else is the corner cases, is the boilerplate around it. So AI is great for that.
Okay, thanks a lot, and thanks a lot to everyone. We still have a couple of questions, but we are unfortunately out of time. But maybe I invite each of you to get in touch with Domingos if you have any other questions that have been unanswered.
Yeah, feel free to reach me. Thank you. You can find us also in all 10 booth C1. Thank you very much.